all in the 198th Judicial District Court of Kirk County, Texas. Court is streaming from Kendall County via Zoom and YouTube. Are there any objections?
No objections.
No, Your Honor.
No, Judge.
With that, Mr. McCusker, would you please begin the announcements, and if the attorneys would please prompt their clients to announce.
Yes, Judge. Drake McCusker, attorney for the department. Mr. Tucci.
Alejandra Sertuche, permanency specialist with Belong.
Lindsay Ligon, Belong Permanency Supervisor.
Maureen Yanis, attorney for the mother, Angelica Carringer. She is present, Judge. Ms. Carringer, will you unmute and announce, please?
Angelica Carringer, the mother.
Richard Sullivan. Richard Sullivan, attorney for the father, Victor Montanez. Mr. Montanez, will you announce, please?
This is Victor Montanez, father.
Lucinda Mance for the children. I'm ready.
Goldie Rabson, Hill Country Casa, guardian ad litem for the children and supervisor. Bonnie, will you please unmute and announce yourself?
Bonnie White Cotton, Hill Country Casa, guardian ad litem for the children.
My understanding is there's a motion to retain on file. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge, that's correct.
Do y'all need to confer at all, or is everything worked out?
No, Judge, I believe everybody is in agreement with the department's request. Ms. Carringer is still engaged in her program at Mercygate and making progress. So we are asking the court to retain the suit on its docket.
$403?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
That was, yeah, it's a 401B extension, Judge, the extraordinary circumstances.
All right. Then why don't you go ahead and call Ms. Sertuche and get a little testimony on that.
Okay.
Please.
And can you give the court an update on how Ms. Carringer is doing in her program at Mercygate?
I've been getting reports that she's doing really well. She's engaged. She's going to actually graduate from her Job Corps program this month. So everything's on track for her at her program. She has lined up the opportunity for the follow-up aftercare. I believe that's what it is. It's with Enhanced Horizons. So she'll have a little bit more freedom there, but while at the same time still being overseen.
Okay. And what services has Ms. Carringer been able to complete while she's been at Mercygate?
She's been completing drug tests frequently, as well as counseling and faith-based therapeutic counseling.
Okay. Has she been able to attend any sort of parenting program or anything like that?
Yes, that's all part of her program there at Mercygate.
Okay. You said that she's going to be completing her Job Corps program. Does that mean she's going to be completing services at Mercygate and then entering into an aftercare program?
No, the Job Corps program was like an added onto her Mercygate program. So she's just graduating from that program. Okay.
Do you have an anticipated completion date for her program at Mercygate?
I believe it was August the last time I checked in, but I could be wrong. The timelines are a little bit confusing for me because she's going into Enhanced Horizons now. So she's not technically leaving Mercygate. I think she'd probably be better at explaining that process.
Okay. How would you classify her overall level of compliance at this point?
I would say she's been fully compliant towards her service plan.
Okay. And based off the progress that she's made and the timeline with Mercygate, do you believe it's in the children's best interest for the court to retain the suit on its docket?
I do.
Okay. Has Ms. Carringer been participating in visits with the kids?
She has.
Okay. And how often is she visiting with the children?
She's visiting with them every Sunday for 4 hours, but we did get approval to add on an additional 2 hours for Sundays, which will start this Sunday.
Okay. And are those supervised or unsupervised?
They're unsupervised, but she's not technically unsupervised because she's under Mercygate staff. So, but she does get her independent time with the kids.
Okay. With regard to Mr. Montanez, how's he doing in his family plan?
I would say that he is not in compliance, although he is very cooperative when I come visit with him. It's just the part of the facility where he is. They don't have availability for services yet, but he is on a wait list.
Okay, and where is Mr. Montez currently located?
At the Dominguez State Jail in San Antonio.
Okay. And based off working with Mr. Montez and other clients, are there services available at that unit?
There are, but it goes off of like priority basis there, and if there's inmates that are set to be released sooner than he is, they get first dibs on the services that are available.
Okay, and what services has Mr. Montanez placed himself on the waiting list for?
It's like life skills, and I think there's like the AANA. I would have to look back at my notes if that's okay.
That's fine.
So they have, it's called Bridges to Life, and that's once a week. It's like a faith-based, kind of like about acceptance and recognition. And then they have another one called Wall Talk, which is like a group that's 5 hours a day, and he will get a certificate for that one. And then the wait list that he's on, that he told me was a 3-month wait list, was for parenting, cognitive skills, and another one called Changes. So that's like a rehab, like a substance abuse program.
Okay, and when did Mr. Montanez get placed on that waiting list?
I think that might have been since like the beginning of this case. If not, the last time I had asked him about it was like in January. I mean, I asked him about it this month or April, but in January he was already on the wait list.
Okay, so do you have an anticipated date where Mr. Montez would be able to start participating in those programs?
Based on what he told me, he said, oh, actually, I did write it down. He's been on the wait list since October of last year. So I don't have an anticipated time of when he'll be able to start. It all depends on the inmates that are there and their time of being released.
Okay, so at least if the court were to retain jurisdiction over this case, it would give Mr. Montez additional time to be able to work his way through those wait lists, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then can you just briefly give the court an update on how the children are doing in their placement?
Oh yeah, the kids are doing really good. They're actually thriving. They're talking a lot more, becoming a lot more independent, and they're very sweet. Yeah, I think they're very comfortable where they are, but they absolutely do enjoy their visits with mom. Based on the reports I got from mom and from placement, when they're picking them up or dropping them off, they're all super excited to see each other. And they've been going to church with mom. So I think they're doing really, really well.
Okay, are they up to date on all their medical and dental exams?
They are. They actually just had another dental. If it hasn't been completed yet, it's gonna get completed this week.
Okay, are there any medical or dental concerns at this time?
Not at this time.
Okay. Is placement meeting all the children's physical and emotional needs?
They are.
Do you have any concerns for the children in their current placement?
I do not.
Are you asking the court to continue their placement today?
Yes,
And you believe the continuation of that placement is in the children's best interest?
I do.
Okay, pass it, Mr. Judge.
Ms. Giannis.
Thank you, Judge. Maybe you said this, but I want to know, what is the goal in this case
Reunification
with
mom.
Okay, so if mom's going to enhanced horizons now, is that going to change the level of supervision that she'll have during her visits?
I think this one's gonna be much more independent for Miss Carringer, and she will actually be allowed overnight visitations with the children here, so it's gonna be a lot more accommodating.
And that leads into my next question about increasing visits.
Yes.
It was reunification. So you have a plan going into this for increased visits?
Absolutely. There will be a transition plan moving into those overnights, and then we can potentially go into a full monitored return.
And there's no timeline for that at this point, or you have to staff that?
Normally we do have to staff reunifications.
And there's no timeline for that at this point, or you have to staff that?
Normally we do have to staff reunifications, for monitored returns. But I don't see a barrier in that at all if mom is gonna be in Enhanced Horizons and they do allow the children to be there more often. So there shouldn't be an issue, but we do have to staff.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll pass.
You're welcome.
Mr. Salvador.
Yes. Has the father had any contact with the children while he's incarcerated?
I know he talks to his sister Carmen and they're able to talk on the phone, but that's about it.
Okay, and his sister's been able to give him updates regarding the children, is that correct?
Yes. And then I give him updates as well whenever I go visit him.
Okay. And are you just asking for him to continue to try to make efforts to participate in services at this point?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, he's in agreement with the children staying at this point with his sister, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And any other concerns you have for Mr. Montanez?
I don't.
No. Is he able to write letters to the children?
I think he is, but it's all on a tablet now, so I think it's just more like it's easier for them to do it on the tablet, and it's just like if they text, I think.
Okay. And the department's okay with that communication?
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Pass the witness, Judge. Thank you.
Ms. Mance.
Yes, does Enhanced Horizons actually allow for reunification?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I'll pass, Judge.
Anything further, Mr. McKeska?
No, Judge.
Anybody else have a witness they want to call?
No witnesses, Judge.
No, you're not.
Okay. Ms.
Just
Mance, how do you feel about all this?
Judge, I have actually observed a visit between the children and their mom at the current program where she's residing, and it was very positive. The kids were running a little late, so I spent some time with mom and the other staff. They showed me around, and this was a MTP prior. I'm just really impressed with mom and the work she's done. I think the length and commitment have been a real positive for her. I visited yesterday afternoon with the children at the paternal aunt's home. I've been there before, checked in with aunt. Kids, one child had an ear infection recently. Victoria, Jaylyn had an upper respiratory, had a follow-up visit for her yesterday at the doctor. So they were both on some, just light medication, but the kids are doing great. There's a clear bond between them and the dad side of the family. Paternal aunt is committed to the children remaining in her home until mom can be reunified. She's also encouraging her brother to work the services that he needs to do. And the kids are going to the same, I believe it's a Lutheran preschool daycare there in the area. I visited that in the past as well. Kids are doing great, right where they need to be. And mom's really making positive changes. And I'm 100% believe it's in the children's best interest to grant the extension.
Thank you, Ms. Mance. Ms. Wycott?
No further comments.
Thank you.
Judge, for CASA, we are in agreement with the extension. It is in the children's best interest, and we are very proud of the progress that Ms. Carringer is making. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm proud of you too, Ms. Carringer. Great job. For the purposes of the final trial, court finds that based on chapter 263-401, extraordinary circumstances necessitate the child remaining in the temporary managing conservatorship of the department, and that continuing the appointment of the department as temporary managing conservator is in the best interest of the child. Dismissal date is going to be December 28th, 2024. December 28th, 2024. The next permanency hearing be August 7th, 2024, excuse me, at 10 a.m. August 7th at 10. And then our final trial will be reset to November 6th, 2024 at 10 a.m. November 6th at 10. For the purposes of the extension, the court does find that extraordinary circumstances are partly based off the fact that the mother has made a good faith effort to complete the service plan but needs additional time. And at the completion of the plan, the permanency goal is reunification with the mother. Court also finds, for the purposes of a permanency hearing, that the permanency goal is family reunification, that the children are in a placement that is safe and appropriate, meeting their needs and in their best interest to continue. Court finds that the children are up to date on their medical, dental, and vision checkups, and there are no other concerns. Court finds that the mother, Ms. Carringer, is in compliance. The father, Mr. Montañez, is not in compliance. However, he is cooperating to the best of his ability. Court makes additional findings that the extraordinary circumstances in the extension will not only allow the mother to complete her services, but to allow Mr. Montañez to hopefully get on the wait list or work his way through the wait list to get some services at the Mingus State Jail. Court finds that the children are in the least restricted placement available, that as of today, neither parent has fully addressed all of the concerns bringing the children into care, and that as of today, it's not safe to return the child to either parents. However, we are on the right track, and hopefully very soon, it will be safe to return the children to Ms. Carringer. And I hope that we get there sooner than later. Mr. McKeska, besides the admonishment, is there anything I failed to address?
No, Judge.
I have to address or admonish the parents. The state of Texas gives parents in CPS cases 12 months to demonstrate you can provide a safe, stable, balanced, and drug-free home for your child or children. We've just extended this case past that 12 months, but I want to remind you that it will end. There is an end. It won't go on forever. So please continue to work hard as you have, Ms. Carringer and Mr. Montañez. If you can get into those services, that would be great. But we will be moving towards our final trial and that dismissal date that we've just set. Thank you all for your time and your service. Nothing further. All parties are excused. And Ms. Carringer, keep working hard. I'm proud of you. All parties are excused.
No, Judge. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
With that, Mr. McKeska, would you please begin the announcements?
Thank you, Judge. Drake McKeska, attorney for the department.
Patricia Rogers, the adoption specialist with Belong.
Sonia Sims, I'm the attorney for the child.
Julie Five, Hill Country Casa, guardian ad litem for Tyler.
Amy Harding, Hill Country Casa supervisor.
The person on the iPhone, would you do me a favor and remove your hat and state your name, please?
Daisha Woodfox.
Thank you, Ms. Woodfox. I just wanted to make sure that was you.
It's me. It's bad hair day.
Well,
so I'm multitasking.
Okay. That's okay. If I let you wear a hat in the courtroom, then I have to let everybody wear a hat in the courtroom. Right? I think your hair looks nice. Okay. We're here for a permanency review after final order. And I'm gonna get the report in front of me. Looks like everything is, for the most part, the same. Last time we were here, we were having some issues that we needed to work around as far as getting to the adoption. But I think we're going to need to figure out another way to get this, unless you've gotten it since the reports were filed, but getting this documentation done. So is that still the only barrier at this time, Ms. Rogers?
The barrier at this time is just trying to obtain that birth certificate through the appropriate court. We have been provided the rejection letter with the court referral, so we will need to file a new cause number in the probate court in order for us to move forward. We have everything ready at this point. I am waiting on daycare forms, but that's not going to prevent us from moving forward on the birth certificates.
All right, before I let everybody else sound off on that, let's just cover the basics here. Permanency goal still alternative family, relative, fictive kin adoption with Ms. Woodfox.
Yes.
Placement with Ms. Woodfox is safe and appropriate, meeting all of Tyla's needs.
Yes.
In her best interest to continue there.
Yes.
This is the least restrictive placement available.
Yes.
She's bonded to Ms. Woodfox.
Very much so, yes.
And how's she doing with her speech therapy? Did she need that? Did it end?
So in the evaluation that was conducted by the psychologist, it was recommended that she participate in speech therapy, but when she received her evaluation for the referral, she didn't qualify. So she's within range. She's talking up a storm. She will tell you exactly what she wants when she wants it. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So she is very, very sassy and very intelligent. She's meeting all milestones, and if anything, I think she might be above the curve. I think she's doing phenomenal where she's at.
Okay. And then as far as reasonable efforts, I mean, I know that you've been working towards getting the adoption done and trying to get through this legal conundrum that we're in, but are there any other reasonable efforts that you've made since we were last here in November?
I have reached out to Vital Statistics on numerous occasions. We've had several conversations and 2 meetings since November to discuss what needs to happen in order for us to obtain that birth certificate. Most recently, I spoke with them back in March or late February, I apologize, in regard to a separate case, but we were able to bring Tyla up just to see what was needed. And they did inform us that we just needed the court-ordered birth certificate and 3 supplemental documentation to prove that this child was born on the date that she was born and the location that she was born in. I have had the opportunity to speak with Drake and our legal department with Belong, and we were able to come up with a plan yesterday to move forward in order to obtain that birth certificate. At this time, outside of that, unfortunately, I haven't been able to make any additional movement. I think that we're just kind of stuck at this point until we can get that court date with the probate court.
Okay. Mr. McCaskill, any questions?
No questions, Judge, just a statement to the court about, our plan and be able to detail that a little bit more for you.
All right, before I hear that, Ms. Sims, any questions?
Ms. Rogers, is it correct that the managing conservator needs to file this action with the probate court?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Okay, and then it's just a matter of getting a setting with the judge or possibly requesting that she sign off on the order without the necessity of a hearing. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Okay, and when that is filed, will the department notice me as the child's ad litem so I can follow up on the progress of that?
Yes, of course.
Do you believe 2 weeks is a reasonable time frame to get it filed with the probate court so that we can begin requesting a date?
2 weeks may, I don't know the entire process on the probate court, so I'm not too familiar with timeframes and such. I would like to see that be done within 2 weeks, yes. I do think that it could most likely be done within the next month.
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
Mr. McCaskill, if you want to go ahead and give your statement.
Yeah, Judge. So we did meet yesterday and develop a plan. I think one of the complicating factors in this case has been that some of the various types of supporting documentation that can be used to support the petition actually has different birth dates on it. And so it was a matter of locating documents to support the petition with the correct birth date on it. During the staffing yesterday, I did a deep dive into our TMC file and was able to locate some of that additional documentation that was actually used originally to request the birth certificate that does show the correct birth date. So I provided all that to Patricia and the Belong folks yesterday. We are going to file the case in the Kerr County Probate Court. I believe that it would be the appropriate court to handle it. We would have filed into this particular case. However, whenever this case was originally filed, it was assigned to the County Court of Law. And the statutes regarding the birth certificate issue either has to be the district court or the probate court of the county. And so we guessed that filing into Judge Kelly's court would probably be the most efficient because his docket probably isn't nearly as busy as the district courts there in Kerr County. So we are going to be doing that. Now that we have all the documentation together, we'll get the petition put together and filed, and then we'll get with Judge Kelly and get this thing moving down the line.
Okay, I have a question, and it doesn't necessarily negate what your plan is, so I don't want this question to throw off whatever plans you made yesterday. It's, I guess, maybe it's not so much of a question as a comment, maybe another solution. We did have a Bandera case when we had this discussion with Vital Statistics. All the cases out of the district court and county court of law, when with CPS concurrent jurisdiction, they're all referred to this court. And so there was a lady from the Vital Statistics who said it has to be the district judge. And I explained to her, no, I've got authority over these cases through that referral. And after talking to them, they finally conceded, as long as we have a hearing and we have it in front of a judge and the judge signs the order, we're good. And that worked in that case. Is there a distinction in this case? I understand it's a county court law, but still, I don't have a problem hearing it, but is there some statute or distinction that I'm not aware of that makes you feel more comfortable going that route? Because if there is, that's fine. I just want you to know that from where I see it, in that other case, you should be able to do it here, which would maybe get it done faster. But if there's something that you think prohibits me from doing it because the case came from the CCL, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I don't want to complicate the process.
So yeah, that was the distinguishing factor, Judge. The Benaire case was in the 198th, and this one being the Kerr County Court of Law. The statute does say that the petition has to be filed in the probate court or the district court in the county, and so I didn't want to file into this case, go through that process, and then it get rejected for that purpose.
I understand.
And so we figured that just going directly into Judge Kelly's court with probate court would be the safest route at this point.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't misunderstanding anything. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
If this would have been filed in the 198th or 216th, we would have put it in front of you, Judge, just like the Bandera case.
Okay. It makes sense. I understand. Ms. Sims?
Your Honor, I would just ask, I understand it's going to be a process. First step is to get it filed in probate court and have that new cause number assigned. I would ask that you order that belong through the department to notice me as the child's ad litem so I can follow up on that, and ask that they get that filed within 2 weeks. I understand it may take longer than that to actually get a hearing before the judge, to have the judge sign off on the order. But we need some movement. Tyla has been with Miss Woodfox. She is doing great. They are trapped here in this perpetual limbo that is of no fault of the child or placement. I know Belong has been making diligent efforts, and CASA has been assisting, and Drake has been fabulous, but it's been a long time. So if you would order that petition, that new cause number, be filed within 2 weeks, and then if I receive notice, I can also assist in trying to help get a setting and make sure it's done.
All right. Ms. Fife?
I agree with Miss Sims. Tyla is doing wonderful. She's growing. She's talking a mile a minute. She's intelligent. She's doing great. I mean, the only hitch that we've had this whole time is getting this birth certificate. So I hate to see it keep dragging on, but I don't understand it all. So whatever anybody can do to help this family just get together and move on with their lives would be fabulous. So, yes.
Thank you, Ms. Fife.
You bet.
All right, then, for the purpose of the permanency review after final order, the court finds the permanency goals alternative family relative victim kin adoption placement with Ms. Woodfox is safe and appropriate, meaning Tyla's needs. It's in her best interest to continue there. It's the least restrictive placement available. She is bonded to Ms. Woodfox. Court finds that she did not qualify, and another evaluation for the speech therapy, so she's not receiving that. But based on what Ms. Rogers said, it seems as if it's appropriate. Court finds that Belong has made reasonable efforts to get the birth certificate situation figured out, and has reached out to Vital Statistics and working with the court system and meeting with the parties to make that happen. I am going to order, as Ms. Sims requested, that the petition be filed with Judge Kelly in the probate court of Kerr County within 2 weeks from today, and that she be noticed as the ad litem in that situation. Our next hearing will be October the 2nd, 2024 at 11:30. October 2nd, 2024 at 11:30. Anything I failed to address?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you all for your time and your service, Ms. Sims. Good to see you again. And if nothing further, all praise are excused.
Thank you.
Judge.
Thank you.
Mr. McCaskill, would you please begin the announcements?
Yes, Judge. Drake McCaskill, attorney for the department. Ms. Coffey.
Kim Coffey, I'm the Belong Adoption Specialist. Adoption Supervisor.
Amy Harding, Hill Country Casa, guardian ad litem for Madison. Ms. Lucas, will you unmute and announce yourself?
I am. Annette Lucas, Hill Country Casa, guardian ad litem for Madison.
Ms. McCain and Madison, would you both please announce for me, please?
Yes, Heidi McCain. I'm Madison's mother. Madison.
We were last here in February. Our next permanency review isn't until July, but set a progress hearing for today just to check on things. See if there was anything else that we needed to talk about rather than wait until July to do that. Sorry, let me get back to my notes here. Excuse me. So, Ms. Coffey, we're still looking at reunification with Ms. Shelton, and had some issues, but it looks like from your report things are going pretty well at this point.
Yes, Judge. I think both Ms. McCain and Madison are doing great. There has not been any issues. I think the hang up was just getting Ms. McCain in with a therapist, which she has done. We have secured a therapist for her that I believe she has started now. So I think that's basically the only thing, is that we just want to see Ms. McCain, in some therapy in order to dismiss this case, so she can address, her trauma, as well as bringing, Madison back into her home and dealing with, teenagers. So.
Yeah. And by issues, that's what I was referring to. I think that's what we talked about last time, was that we needed to get that therapy set up. So it sounds like that issue has been resolved. Okay. Mr. McCaskill, do you have any questions?
No, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Saldivar, I understand that you're covering for Ms. Savage. Do you want to go ahead and announce?
Yes, Judge. Sorry for being late. I'm covering Kathleen Savage for the child ready, Judge.
Okay. Currently talking about the reason for the progress hearing has been resolved. Did Ms. Savage give you any notes?
Yes, Judge. Everything's going well from her end. She did have some questions on whether Madison had all her documentation, her ID and social security card, and whether therapy had started. Those were her only concerns, but she's asking for placement to remain, and she's in agreement with the goal of PMC to the mom in the future whenever that's appropriate.
All right. Ms. Lucas, anything you want to add?
I don't think so. Just talking to Madison, things are very, very good with her. School's going well. She sounds happy. She sounds positive, and that's really nice to hear from Madison. When I talk to her, she's very up. She's happy with her life, and I think I get the same impression from both Lucy and from Heidi.
Good. Glad to hear it. All right. Miss Heidi, excuse me, Ms. McCain, you're not represented by counsel and you're not a party, but I wanted to give you the opportunity, if you had any questions at this time for the purposes of the progress hearing, anything you wanted to weigh in on or think we needed to address today?
No, I was going to let the gentleman know. I don't remember what his name was. The one's filling in for Miss Savage, know that she does have an ID card and a social security card.
Good. Okay. Madison?
Yes.
Anything you want to add?
No, I'm very happy and I want this to be over with.
Hey, I'm happy that you're staying out of trouble and that you want this to be over with.
Yes.
It's a good day. All
Yes.
right. Well, then I think our progress hearing has served its purpose. Looks like that therapy issue was resolved. So you all just keep working on what you're working on. We'll be back in a few months. If we need to come back before then just let me know. But if not, then I'll see everybody July 17th, 2024 at 10:30.
Okay.
And I feel like everything's going pretty well, so I'm not going to make any specific orders, but obviously if you all feel like things are progressing fast enough and you're comfortable, you can bring it to the court's attention and we can get on that docket earlier. But if we need to go to that date, then we'll just keep it on the docket. Okay. All right. Thank you all for your time and your service. If nothing further, all parties are excused. Ms. McCain and Madison, good luck to you both, and I'll see you soon.
All right, thank you.
Sir, in the hat, if you could please remove your hat for me and keep your device still. You can't hear me. All right, Mr. McKeska, would you please begin the announcements?
Yes, Judge Drake McKeska, attorney for the department. Ms. Winky.
Samantha Winky, Family-Based Safety Services worker.
For Harris, attorney ad litem for the mother. Ms. Green-Pena, can you please announce your name?
Yes, Maya Green-Pena.
Charles Weatherby, attorney for the father. Mr. Hiltrunner, would you announce ready, please, and hold your phone still?
He can't hear us. He's got no audio on his end.
Marco Cabrera, I'm
Judge,
here.
I don't believe that.
Go ahead.
I don't believe that Coda's here. He let me know this morning that he wouldn't be able to make it.
Who is this gentleman in the hat that has no audio? Can anybody tell me who that is?
He doesn't look like my client, but I haven't seen him in a long time.
Does anyone know who that is? All right, I'm going to put him back in the waiting room because it's distracting.
That's not.
Marco Cabrera, I'm here on behalf of Mr. Richard Saldivar, who is the ad litem. I'm ready.
Anybody that hasn't announced yet, please go do so now. Excuse me.
Your Honor, Mr. Hiltrunner couldn't get off of work today, so he's not here. But I'm not ready, but not opposed.
Okay. All right, Ms. Winky, looking at your report. Last time we were here, both parents were in compliance. Your report reflects that they're still cooperating and engaging, and you're asking for a dismissal today. You're muted.
Yes, that's correct, Judge.
Okay. Mr. McKeska, do you want to take a little bit of testimony?
Sure, Judge. So, Ms. Winky, can you just give the court an update on how the parents are doing in their services?
So overall, the family's doing really well. They've completed everything that we've asked them to do through this case. That includes Maya completing a psychological and completing parents as teachers. They've been very, very cooperative and taken in a lot of the things that they've been exposed to. My only concern, which I don't believe is a barrier to us closing the case, is that Coda and Maya kind of continue going back and forth with the status of their relationship. So I would just want to caution them that going forward, while it doesn't impact child safety right now, that could change. So they just need to be really mindful and continue utilizing the tools that they've learned and picked up through this case. Most of these services, all of them actually, can continue even if we close the case. Parents as Teachers has already agreed to continue working with the family. And then Joni Chavez, who Maya is seeing for counseling, is still going to be available for Maya to utilize using her Medicaid benefits as well as MHDD. So I would just really encourage Maya to continue using those resources that are available to her and the tools that she's learned.
Okay, and based off of the progress that's been made, you think that the concerns have been addressed regarding the children?
Yes, I do.
Pass the witness charge.
Ms. Harris, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Weatherby?
No questions, but I'm glad to know that the services are still available.
Mr. Cabrera?
No, Your Honor.
Anything that Mr. Saldivar asked you to report today?
What he reported to me was that he's happy to see that the parents did their services. The last bit that he was concerned about was transportation, but he reported to me that mom was able to find a car and now is able to appropriately transport the kids where they need to go. So for him, that was the last concern, and he's happy with and agreeing to dismiss.
Okay, well, it sounds like we're in a good spot, and I see Nyla there. Hey, she and mom both look happy and healthy, which is good to see. And I'm sorry Mr. Hilton couldn't be here today, but Miss Green Pena, you heard what Miss Winky said. You know how to get help and where to get it if you need it. You also heard that if there's any concerns moving forward regarding relationship status, there's people that will help guide you through that if you have questions or issues. So please take advantage of that so that we don't have to see you back here, okay? All right, let's give her a little round of applause. We're doing a good job. Congratulations. Court believes it's in the best interest of the child to grant the department's request to dismiss. Good luck to you, ma'am. Thank you all for your time and your service. This is a great day. And if nothing further, all parties are excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. You have a great day.
And if the attorneys would please prompt their clients to announce.
Yes, Judge. Dre McCusker, attorney for the department. Mr. Minen.
Blaine Minen, permanency specialist with Belong.
Kurt Rudkin, attorney for Albert Menchaca. Albert, would you announce you're present?
Here, I'm here.
State your name, please, sir.
Albert Leroy Menchaca II.
Thank you.
Anna Swallow, attorney ad litem for the child. Ready, Judge?
Alana Pierso, attorney ad litem for the father. Roy Silas, who looks like he's here.
Not unmuted and there's no video, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there.
Rochelle Acevedo for the mother, Melissa Lynn Menchaca, not ready, no contact, Judge.
She's here. Miss Menchaca, can you please announce?
No, actually, I'm Norma Padilla. I'm kinship.
Okay, I'm
guardian.
sorry.
That's okay.
I'm going to rename that so that I know who you are. Okay.
Great.
Anybody else that hasn't announced yet?
Marcus McLemore, Hill Country Casa. Terry, please announce.
Terry Luttrell, Hill Country Casa, guardian ad litem for the child.
Has Miss Menchaca been served?
She hasn't, Judge. At the last hearing, you did order the citation by publication. That is in process. I actually spoke with the clerk earlier this week, and they were sending everything over to the newspaper.
Right, Ms. Acevedo's not ready. Mr. Silvas, I don't know if there's somebody there that can unmute you. I don't need you to be unmuted yet, but if anybody needs testimony from you, I will need them to unmute you at that time. Okay, we're here for a status hearing. Mr. Minen, you'll be giving testimony, correct?
Yes, I will.
All right. There's no Indian child heritage in this suit, correct?
No, there's not.
All right. And child is currently placed with relatives in Kerr County.
Yes, sir.
Is that relative placement safe and appropriate in meeting Angel's needs?
It is, yes.
Is it in the child's best interest to remain in that placement?
Yes, sir.
All right. And Angel's up to date on her medical, but is pending a dental due to some issues.
That's my understanding, yes.
Looks like there might be some anesthesia necessary for some extensive dental work.
Yes, sir.
Have you talked to the parties about permission to do that? Is that an issue?
I believe at the last hearing, you ordered that it was okay to proceed with that.
Okay. And that's not an issue anymore. Then it's just a scheduling thing.
I need to reach out to the caregivers to confirm that. I'm not sure when it has been scheduled for yet.
CASA report says it's April 27th. Okay.
Your Honor, I
Yes.
have spoken with Ms. Padilla today. That was postponed to May 10th due to scheduling conflicts.
Thank you, Ms. Luttrell. Any other concerns with Angel at this time?
No.
Your report reflects the family group conference was held.
Yes.
Who all was in attendance? So, was Mr. Menchaca there?
Mr. Menchaca and Miss Menchaca were not present, but Roy Silvis attended.
Okay, it was Mr. Silva. Okay, I'm sorry, I got that detail wrong. Did he participate in the creation of his plan?
Mr. Silvis did, yes.
Did he review it and sign it?
He has not yet. I need to print him out a physical copy for him to sign while he's incarcerated.
But Mr. Menchaca and Miss Menchaca did not participate. They have not reviewed the plans.
I was able to meet with Mr. Menchaca in person yesterday, and he was able to sign his family plan after I reviewed it with him, but I have had no contact with Miss Menchaca.
Okay. Well, I figured you didn't. I just want to make sure she didn't show up for anything there. Okay. Are those plans narrowly tailored to address the concerns that brought Angel into care?
They are, yes.
Are they in the best interest of the child for the court to order?
Yes, sir.
What specific services are required? Just the basic outline for each parent.
Starting with Ms. Menchaca, I would like to see her address her resource management and basic needs, which includes obtaining legal employment and providing belong with proof of her income, as well as maintaining communication with me and letting me know about any address changes. Additionally, for Ms. Menchaca, I would like to see her engage and complete a parenting education course and provide that certificate of completion to belong, as well as engage and complete a battering intervention and prevention program course as an aggressor. It's my understanding throughout this case, Ms. Menchaca was both an aggressor and a victim, so I'd also like to see her address those domestic violence incidents in individual therapy. I would also like to see her address her coping skills and mental health, which would include completing a psychological evaluation, as well as a psychosocial assessment and individual therapy, and providing certificates of completion for individual therapy and sharing any results of the psychological and psychosocial. And I would like to see Ms. Menchaca complete an OSAR drug and alcohol assessment and following any recommendations from that and complying with random drug testing as well throughout the case. And then for Mr. Silvis, I would like to see him complete resource management and basic needs as well, including obtaining legal employment and updating Belong about any address changes and providing a written budget. I would also like to see Mr. Silva's complete parenting skills class and providing a certificate of completion with that as well. And if any additional parenting skills are needed to help bolster his parenting skills, we could also refer him to the SJRC Parents as Teachers program. I would also like to see Mr. Silvis engage in battering intervention and prevention course as an aggressor. And like Ms. Silvis, or Ms. Menchaca, excuse me, he was also a victim, so I would like to see that addressed through individual therapy as well. I would also like to see Mr. Silvis complete a psychosocial and psychological and share the results of that and complete it honestly and openly. I would also like to see him engage in individual therapy and attend all of those appointments and share that information with Belong as well. And I would also like to see Mr. Silvis complete an OSAR assessment for drug and alcohol and follow any recommendations made by that and comply with random drug testing throughout the life of the case as well. For Mr. Menchaca, I would like to see him show proof of legal employment and update Belong about any address changes and stay in contact with Belong. I would also like to see Mr. Menchaca complete a psychological evaluation and follow any recommendations from that, as well as complete a psychosocial and engage in individual therapy if it's recommended. And for Mr. Menchaca, I would like to see him complete a baseline hair drug test. And if he is found positive for that, I would like to see him complete an OSAR drug and alcohol assessment and follow any recommendations from that as well.
All right. So today, has any parent demonstrated that it's safe to return the child to them?
No.
As of today, has any parent fully addressed the concerns that brought Angel into care?
No.
Mr. McCaskill, do you have any questions for Mr. Munden?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Acevedo?
Can you, what are your efforts in regards to locating mom?
So I was provided a phone number from Norma Padilla that she said Ms. Menchaca had used to contact her. I texted that number to try to get in contact with her, as well as called her several times. I called her today actually to try to see if she would attend this hearing, and it seems like the number is no longer in service.
When you call it, does it actually go to, like, does it ring and have a voicemail?
No.
Okay. And is that the only form of contact that you have for her?
Yes, that phone number that Ms. Padilla provided is my only form of attempting to contact her.
Okay. What have you done in, I mean, are there any other diligent efforts that you made in locating mom?
We are about to start the citation by publication, I believe. I believe I read that it was going to start this week or the week after. But besides that, I've had no other way of trying to contact her.
Have you looked up any other previous addresses?
No.
Do you even know what city she's in?
I believe it was discussed that she was in Round Rock or Marble Falls, that area, but I'm not sure where she's actually living.
Let me stop you for just a second. I've had somebody in the waiting room. Looks like the title of their name is VCJ. Please state your name.
Good. I'm changing the name at this time. This is Vicky Cavazos Jones, Spanish interpreter.
Okay. Do we need a Spanish interpreter for this one?
It's for the next one, Judge.
Okay. Ms. Cavazos Jones, well, that's for the next hearing. But that's been passed, right?
No, just there's an MSA for temporary orders.
Okay.
The only thing that was
back
passed
in the waiting room. I'm sorry,
Okay,
Mr. Casco.
the only thing that's been passed was the hearing for aggravated circumstances.
Okay. All right. Understood. Okay. Continue, Mr. Munden.
Yes, the last time I heard, I thought she was around Round Rock or Marble Falls, that area.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass, Judge.
Ms. Pearsall.
Thank you, Your Honor. What is happening with Mr. Silva's DNA test?
Can you repeat that?
Yes, what is happening with Mr. Silva's DNA test that was ordered to be done back in March?
So Mr. Silva's DNA test, after receiving an email from Mr. McKeska's legal assistant, it's my understanding that they're only allowed to schedule appointments for one parent at a time. I spoke to Mr. Menchaca in person yesterday, and he informed me that he was able to complete his part of the DNA test. So Mr. Silva's should be scheduled soon.
Okay, do you have any idea when it will be scheduled?
Right now, I'm not sure about the exact date.
Okay, and who are you staying in touch with so it actually gets done this century?
Mr. McKeska's legal assistant.
Okay, so you don't actually know who to contact in order to get it scheduled yourself?
It's Jamie, and I believe the last name is Martinez.
Okay. Can you follow up with her and give me an update as to what is happening and how soon we can get that set?
Absolutely, yes.
And now Mr. Silva's participated in the family group conference and indicated that he's willing to do anything necessary needed if in fact he is the father.
So during the family group conference, Mr. Silvas was present, but I believe his mic was muted. I met with him shortly before that same day and went over the services that I would be asking of him, and he was fully committed to engaging in those services.
And have you gone back after the FGC to give him a copy of his service plan?
No, not yet. I need to be able to print it out for him.
Okay, so the reason he hasn't signed is he hasn't been given an opportunity to sign.
Exactly.
Okay, so when are you planning to go visit with him so he can have a copy of it?
I'll be working in a DFPS office with access to a printer tomorrow, so it's on my to-do list to go take that to him to sign tomorrow.
Okay, you're going to meet with him tomorrow? That's your plan?
Yes.
Okay, no other questions?
Mr. Rodkin?
No, I have no questions.
Ms. Swallow?
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Minen, excuse me, in the parents' family plans of service, you indicate that they need to drug test. What type of drug testing is the department going to be requesting of these parents?
So to start, I would like to see each parent complete a hair follicle test to get a baseline of where they are. And depending on the results of that test for Mr. Menchaca would indicate whether or not he needed to continue completing random UAs. But for the parents, I would send them for random UAs and hair follicle tests every 105 days for the hair follicle, and the UAs would be random during the month.
Okay. And if at any point you believe that it would be prudent to have a parent nail bed test, is that something you're going to be requesting?
Yes, I can do that.
As far as services for Angel, has she started play therapy?
She has not started play therapy yet, no.
Has that been identified as a need for her?
Yes, it has.
What's the plan to identify a play therapist for Angel?
My plan is to reach out to therapists in the Kerrville area or areas surrounding it so that she can be able to meet in person with them and get that scheduled as soon as possible.
Okay. When you find a therapist, would you let the parties know, please?
Absolutely.
And she started daycare, correct?
Yes, she did.
And she's doing good.
She is. I was able to go see her at her daycare last week, I believe, and she was doing awesome there.
Are you requesting that this court's prior orders on visitation remain?
Yes.
And do you know if a home study has been initiated on placement?
I need to check on that. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Okay, that's something, if not, that needs to be done, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I pass the witness.
Any other questions?
No, Judge. I'd just like to give the court some feedback regarding the DNA testing.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other witnesses or questions?
No, Judge.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. McKeska.
Yeah, Judge. So just to let everybody know, the AG is the contractor providing the DNA testing. The AG's longstanding policy is to test one parent at a time if there's multiple parents. I was hoping to circumvent that policy by including some statutory language in that order requiring concurrent testing, but it seems that my efforts failed. So as soon as we get the results back from Mr. Menchaca, depending on if he's adjudicated, not adjudicated, then we'll move on to Mr. Silvas. So I tried getting around it, but it wasn't fruitful.
All right. Well, all you can do is try sometimes. Okay. Ms. Swallow, is there anything you want to add?
Judge, I advocate that Angel's placement continue. She's thriving with Ms. Padilla and her family. She knows the family. She has started daycare. She does have her oral surgery coming up. I hope that's not too painful for her. I would like to see play therapy started for her, and I'm not sure if the CANS was completed or not. And I also would like confirmation on that home study. Other than that, I agree with all the services outlined by the parents. I participated in the family group, and I'm hopeful that we can make some progress with the mom. I'm pretty sure she's aware of these proceedings, and so it's just a matter of her coming forward. Hopefully that'll happen soon.
Thank you. Ms. Luttrell?
Yes, sir. CASA is very happy with Angel's placement with the Padillas. I've visited the home. She's very happy there. She has been with them as part of the family since she was born. Norma actually got her phone out, showed me baby pictures and progression throughout. So she's very happy there. She's doing well in daycare, and it's definitely in her best interest at this point.
Thank you. For the purposes of the status hearing, court finds there's no child heritage in this suit. Court finds that Ms. Menchaca has still not been served and will make no orders as to Ms. Menchaca today. And court takes judicial notice that the citation for publication documents are in process. Court finds that Angel's placement with the Padillas is safe and appropriate, meeting her needs and in her best interest to continue. Court finds that she's up to date on her medical and that her dental work is pending for May the 10th, 2024. Court finds there are no other concerns with Angel at this time. Court finds the parties held a family group conference. Mr. Silvas was able to participate in the creation of his plan. He has not reviewed it or signed it yet at this time. Obviously, the mother did not participate. Father Menchaca did not participate in the creation of his plan, although he has reviewed it and signed it. Court finds the plans are narrowly tailored to address the concerns that brought Angel into care, and that it's in the best interest to make the plans orders of the court, with the exception of Ms. Menchaca at this time. The court will not make any orders as to her plan. Court finds that Mr. Silva and Mr. Menchaca are cooperating at this time and have appeared today. Court finds that as of today, it's not safe to return the child to any parent, and that as of today, no parent has demonstrated that they have fully addressed the concerns that brought Angel into care. Court will distribute a discovery control plan and a pretrial scheduling order with rules and deadlines on discovery, as well as dates and times of future hearings. Please review those and return them. The next hearing will be our initial permanency hearing, August the 7th, 2024 at 9:30. August 7th, 2024 at 9:30. Court has to admonish the parents that the state of Texas gives parents in CPS cases 12 months to demonstrate you can provide a safe, stable, balanced, and drug-free home. In the event you cannot do so, your rights to your child are subject to restriction as they are now, or termination. Mr. Silvas, did you have a question?
Yeah. When am I going to be able to talk to her?
Talk to who?
To Angel.
That's something you need to talk to your attorney about. I'm not making any orders as to that today due to the fact that you're incarcerated, but you can talk to your attorney and she can see what she can work out with the other parties.
Okay.
All right. Mr. McKeska, is there anything I failed to address?
No, Judge.
Okay. Thank you all for your time and your service. If there's nothing further, all parties are excused.
Thank you.
I wanted to say something.
I think you already closed the proceedings.
Okay.
Norma, if you want to contact me, I can help assist you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.